Hello, I'm Rachel Wolf. I'm the author of Letters from a Better Me: How Becoming an Empowered Woman Transforms the World. I write a daily blog called Aligning with Love, Abundance, and Peace on From a Loving Place, and I'm a transformational coach and speaker. I'm so excited to be here with you today. Today, I get to talk about my absolute favorite subject: perspective. Perspective is the foundation of everything that's going to make us or break us. So, right now, I want you to think about the perspectives you hold true in your life. Are they keeping you prisoner, or are they setting you free? Are your perspectives keeping you prisoner or setting you free? I'm going to give you an example. Over a decade ago, I was in my room getting screamed at, getting belittled, getting demeaned, being called names. And in that moment, my perpetrator said, "I'm doing this because I love you." And at the time, something just didn't feel right about it. Even though it's happened so many times before, in that moment, I heard this whisper: look up the definition of love. This is not what love is. So I type into my computer while he's still yelling at me the definition of love. And a very familiar passage comes across the screen. A passage that has been repeated over and over. I've heard it in wedding ceremonies, I've read it, but I never saw it as the definition of love. And it was from Corinthians. Love is patient, love is kind, love is not arrogant or boastful or rude. It does not insist on its own way. And it goes on. And different versions say different things. But for whatever reason, that day, that version resonated with me so deeply, because what I realized is at that moment, I was holding on to a belief about love, that love hurt, that love was painful, that love meant you put up with things and tolerated things that weren't good for you. That's what my belief of love was. That was my perspective that was keeping me prisoner of abuse for 10 years. Because somewhere inside of me, I believed that's what love was. I believed I was unlovable, and I believed that I was unworthy of it. And so I projected out and got back exactly how I treated myself. Because I was only allowing as much abuse as I abused myself, which I learned on this journey that I had been taking to realize I don't have to do that anymore. And when I shifted the way I treated myself, when I treated myself with the love like it was in that verse, that's when things started to shift in my life. That's when the helper started showing up and giving me all these amazing seeds to make me strong. Not because they're somebody else's seeds, but because I decided to plant them. And so what I want to go with that is, I want everybody to close your eyes just for a minute. Just close them, take a deep breath in, release. And I want you to imagine your most beautiful garden. This is a garden of your dreams. If you could have any garden to walk onto, this is your garden. It looks exactly how you want it to look. Imagine that garden. Now open your eyes. That's your garden, the way you want it to look. Everybody's is going to look a little different. Nobody's is going to look exactly the same. And how we choose to plant every seed that we're given and what we nurture in our gardens and help grow will be what sticks. So let's take it back a notch. In order to have a healthy garden, we have to start with the soil. If our soil's not healthy, it doesn't matter what we try to plant. What we try to plant will eventually die or get smuggled out by weeds because we have to have a healthy soil. Now, when I say soil, that's our foundation. That's where all the beliefs are stored. So let's say you have beliefs passed down from generation to generation. Those beliefs come with behaviors. Those behaviors are passed down to generations. New research is saying that trauma is passed down in the DNA. So that would be a lot of that stuff that's buried in your soil. And so many of us are so unconscious of what is in our soil. So it's about figuring out, going deeper, and figuring out what beliefs you are holding on to that are keeping you prisoner of a life that you don't want. Which beliefs are you attaching to that don't serve you in your life? For me, that definition of love did not serve me. It did not do anything for me but cause me pain and suffering. And I did not want to have that pain and suffering anymore. So I had to do something to change it. That is me digging in my dirt. I read so many books about shame, about codependency, about breaking free from abuse, about narcissism. I submerged myself in the journey because I knew I never wanted to be in this position again. But what I realized that until I applied that definition of love to me directly, I couldn't project it fully out. I still had a lot of work to do there. And once I learned that piece, and I learned how to love myself and then project out my light from there, that's when my life changed. That's when I went from a caterpillar struggling to find my way into my chrysalis where I learned and then got my wings as a butterfly. This takes work, keeping these beliefs alive, whether they are the ones that keep us prisoner or the ones that set us free. They both take work, and we contribute to that work every day. Every day we're contributing to whatever belief we're holding true to. So if we are trapped in the energy of fear, lack, and separation in our beliefs, in our thoughts, in our actions, we project that out and we will get that back. When we are attached and aligned with love, peace, and abundance, we project that out and we get that back. That's the difference of being in a prison and being set free from our perspectives. Blame is one of the most dangerous perspectives that keep us trapped as prisoners, because when we can put our feelings onto somebody else or internalize them in self-blame, which is self-abuse, which leads to the toxic cycles, we project that out and we sabotage the good that comes back to us. We will sabotage it. I was told in church one time, a pastor said, "You're only as happy as you believe you deserve. You will only ever be as happy as you believe you deserve. Anything more than that, you sabotage." That hit me like a jolt. At the time, I was getting emotionally abused. That's what I thought I deserved. So by taking responsibility back, not focusing on blame, but just being accountable and responsible for ourselves, for what energy we project out and what we can bring back and the helpers that we attract that way, that's the journey. That's the place where you can expand and fly. That's how you do it. You will keep sabotaging yourself if you don't go back to that soil and strip away the beliefs that do not serve you. I'm going to give you a little exercise that will help you physically determine if a belief is actually you're being a prisoner of that belief or it's setting you free. So, take a deep breath in, out. I'm only going to take you here for a second because I don't like keeping people here long. I want you to think of a very painful thought, one that creates fear or an inner rage or just a thought that invokes a stirring inside you. You got it? Where do you feel that in your body? It probably feels like a tightening somewhere. It could be in your throat. It could be in your stomach. It could be in your legs. It just depends for a person of where they carry it. Now, shake it out. We don't want to keep that there too long. So now, take another deep breath. Think of a thought that makes you feel good inside. Think of a thought that sets you free, whether it's your relationship with God, whether it's a place out in nature, whether it's a familial bond that you have that's so pure and full of love and joy. And think of that. And where do you feel that in your body? It should feel expansive. It's usually in the chest area, and it feels expansive and freeing. Almost like you are taking your wings and getting ready to soar. That's what it feels like. These are two ways you can see and tap into your insides to figure out if a belief is serving you and helping set you free or if it's keeping you prisoner. So let's take the belief, I have to work hard. I have to work hard to be successful. I have to work hard to do anything in this world. I have to hustle. If you feel a tightness in you from that, then that belief is keeping you prisoner. It's not helping you. That belief for me tightens me right up. And it doesn't mean it's going to tighten everybody up, but for me, it tightens me up. So what I learned is I have to work smart, because if I work smart, I don't have to sacrifice my family time. I don't have to sacrifice the relationships that matter to me to be successful. That's important to me. So if I think of having to work so hard that I have to put in 90-hour weeks or 80-hour weeks like I used to do before I had any kind of life, personal life, well, then I'm going to feel the pressure of that. So how do I get rid of that pressure? I work smart. I'm smart about the time. I'm smart about the things that I'm investing in. Another belief that is one that I know gets a lot of people is I am a God-fearing individual. I'm a God-fearing woman. I'm a God-fearing man. And to do things from a place of fear can feel constricting. So instead, I love God, and I love the example that Jesus gave me of how to live from a loving place. To me, that feels expansive. That's why my blog is called From a Loving Place, was because the examples that I have been given by humans who live life from a loving place, even in the face of hate, even after they've been tortured, even after they have been hurt and traumatized. They still lived from a loving place. Jesus, Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, Byron Katie, Marianne Williamson. These are some of my mentors that I go to when I want to remember how to live from a loving place. Like I said, it takes daily work to stay in the energy you want to be contributing to. So we can choose to be living in fear, or we can choose to be living in love every single moment. It's a moment thing. We can lose it from one belief that we buy into that doesn't feed that garden that we actually want to create. What's the garden that you want to create? Don't plant things in that garden that don't belong there. If someone wants to feed me fear, lack, and separation, if you live in America right now, guarantee you're seeing it all over the place. Fear, lack, separation, hate going all different ways. How is that contributing to your garden? How is that serving you? Don't feed it if it's not serving you. Stop feeding the beast. That's going to create the weeds. That's going to create the smothering vines. Don't plant them. If someone tells you or thinks that you should hate somebody else, you don't have to. Martin Luther King said, hate is too heavy a burden. He'll stick with love. Me too. I think that hate is too heavy a burden, and I am going to do my best to live from a loving place every single day, because that's what empowers me. That's what gives me my wings. That's how I fly. That's how I soar. That's how I'm free to spread whatever seeds that I have to as many people as I can. And then it's their choice if they want to plant what I have. It's not mine. I don't have to take anybody's thoughts about me personally, because someone else's thoughts are just them projecting out from the inside what they believe. I'm just reflecting something back as their vision of it. I've had my car keyed because I was too positive of a person. It doesn't mean that I'm going to change and not be who I am because somebody doesn't like who I am. I'm going to still project love, because if I project the fear, lack, and separation that they want me to, they win. I'm planting their seed in my garden. Do you want to do that? All of my work as a coach, as an author, as a blogger takes people on a journey. So I offer free resources on From a Loving Place. I do a paid session, which is a 35-day personalized one-on-one boot camp. And then I have my book, and each one starts in those stages of being that caterpillar, where you're beginning, what blocks, let's check out all these beliefs that are holding you back. And then moving into the tools to embrace this new belief system. And then go into the actions of how you set yourself free and get your wings. Because it's a process. And we have to go through the whole process in order to fly. Because there will be those people, the caterpillars, who don't ever want to get their real wings. They're going to stay toxic and poisonous and live in fear, lack, and separation. And they will steal others' butterfly wings. And then they'll try to sell you on them. And they will try to get you to plant their toxic seeds in your garden. And the only way they can attach to your energy is if you are in fear, lack, and separation. It's the only way they can do it. So you have the choice to give your power away to the people trying to take you out of the energy that's going to create the garden of your dreams, or to stand firm, stand solid in your belief of what you want for your garden. How are you going to make it be? How are you going to nourish it? How are you going to feed it? How are you going to keep yourself free? For me right now, it takes me doing my daily blog of aligning with love, peace, and abundance to be able to stay where I am, because there is so much negativity around. It's a way I don't have to take it in. It's a way that even if I get into a fear place, even if I get into a rage place, even if I get and feel tight inside, I've learned to imagine angel wings surrounding me and holding me in love within my feelings. Because feelings pass. And as long as we feel them and allow them to come out and use them as tools, they will help set us free, because they will help us see which beliefs we're still attaching to that are creating that inside of us. They have something to teach us. Don't avoid them. Don't suppress them. Feel them completely, and you will be set free. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the conference. And remember, if you want these tools from this amazing conference to stick, you have to be willing to do the inner work so that your beliefs don't sabotage any of the good seeds that are here. You can plant whatever you want, but make sure your soil's ready for it. Create the garden of your dreams. Have a great day.